Whoa, I cut off the intro. I guess I was kind of eager to go there. Good morning, happy Friday, welcome to the show. It is time for the pit stop, and it's not going to take a lot of time for today's pit stop, I tell you. Sometimes I just don't look at the calendar. I don't think ahead, and I just, we do the show every Friday, and I just don't really think about it in advance. It comes up, and it's the time to do the show. Today's 4th of July, so happy birthday, America. Everyone be safe out there if you're going to be out celebrating. It is 4th of July, a fairly big holiday here in the States, so the whole world's on holiday. My brother's off work. Everybody I know is off work, and here I am doing the show. So we're not going to be here very long. I don't have a lot to talk about. I just want to jump on and say hi. What I should have done is last week I should have said, hey, we're not going to do a show. So anyway, with that said, on with the show. Not a lot of news. I do have a video that's coming out today, and it's, such a pain in the ass. The last week we talked about doing an indie show and my recap of my indie trip. And you guys said, yeah, we want to see it. So I was like, cool. And I wrote a script, I filmed it all out, and I put it into editing. And I don't know what it is, but Adobe hates Apple. And Apple hates Adobe. I filmed almost everything using my iPhone. And a buddy of mine who was on the trip also filmed a bunch of footage with his iPhone. And for some reason, Adobe hated it. So I edited this, I think it's about 8-minute long piece. Actually, we don't have a lot to do here. Can I pull it up? I have not seen it yet. I don't hear it. Where's my audio? I hear no audio. Hold on. Let me work on this. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Wrong headphones. Okay. No, not those. There we go. Okay. Now, can I... 400,000. You guys can get the preview. I'm not going to play the whole thing. Let's see. Add a source. No, cancel. Add window. Here we go. Here we go. I'll put this down here. It was a little more complicated than their editor. All right, let's see how it came out. I have no idea. I don't know any of the timing of the pans, the fades, any of it. So we'll see how it played out, and you guys can tell me when to stop. 400,000 It'll go live. Sold out seats. Higher ratings than Daytona. The 109th running of the Indy 500 was one for the books, and I was there, not just watching, but reconnecting with old friends, getting VIP access, and soaking in the kind of racing vibes you just don't get from a sim rig. Here's how it all went down. That worked out. Andrews, it's so rough. Every great racing story starts with a journey. Mine, well, it started with a shuttle bus to the airport. Not very glamorous, right? And then it was on to Southwest Airlines for my flight from Oakland to Vegas for a quick pit stop, and then on to Indy. Total travel time, just shy of 12 hours. Ouch. I landed in Indy at 2:30 in the morning. At that point, you don't even call it late, you just call it racing season. No sleep, no problem. I was finally back in Speedway, Indiana, and things were just getting started. Friday was carb day, and we pulled up like we were royalty,
went right into the Dallara parking lot. Yeah, you know, Dallara, the ones that make the Indy cars. And then we walked across the street to the Speedway and started making our way to the suites. Indoor, outdoor luxury, pit lane views, free food and drinks flowing. It was part race prep, part race party, and all vibes. I could get used to this. And a few people took it a little too far. We even swung by the Penske Racing garages and caught up with our old buddy Clay. He's the crew chief on McLaughlin's car.
I did not
It's
karaoke.
wild how tight this community stays, just like in sim racing. Except, you know, millions of dollars faster. And then something kind of special. Off to the side of pit lane,
Andrus,
a
I
crew
should
is
have done
carefully
that.
unloading
I totally
and
should have done
assembling
that.
the trophy. Yeah, the Borg Warner, the one, the only. It's hard to describe how cool it is seeing that thing up close. All the faces, the detail, it's got presence. It's like
pretty cool.
motorsport
They're just
royalty,
right there in the parking
casually
lot.
showing up for the ceremony. We saw it again later, perched on pit lane, like a crown waiting for its next champion. Saturday was our so-called rest day, and honestly, I kind of needed it. So we just kind of hung out at
Maybe I
Troy's
am
house,
playing the whole thing.
talked about racing stories from the past, and hung out with the real MVP of the trip, that being Troy's 1-year-old golden retriever, Buddy. Now look, I've seen some fast laps in my day, but Buddy doing hot laps in the backyard, that was next level energy. That night we cleaned up and we headed downtown to St. Elmo's, Indy's legendary steakhouse. It's where VIPs, crew chiefs, and drivers come to unwind or negotiate contracts over cocktails. The steak, that was next level energy.
By the way, I want to point one thing
That night
out.
we cleaned up and we headed downtown to St. Elmo's, Indy's legendary steakhouse. It's where VIPs, crew chiefs, and drivers come to...
Do I look a little rosy-cheeked? And the reason for this, I'm going to point this out. I say it, but it was very easily missed. I had the first drink I've had in like 5-6
unwind
years.
or negotiate contracts over cocktails. The steak, on point. The shrimp cocktail, legendary. Like tear up your sinuses spicy. It was a perfect low-key reset before the main event. Sunday was coming fast.
Yeah, we can't
and we were
let that
fueled
go.
and ready.
No, I had a vodka drink.
Sunday, the big show. It is so crowded that we couldn't even drive to Dallara.
might get
But
in
luckily,
trouble
all we had to
for
do
some
was
of
a
this footage.
15-minute walk through Speedway, Indiana from my buddy Troy's house. It's the kind of pilgrimage that every race fan should make at least once in their lifetime. The whole city is about Indy. We took part in all the festivities building up to the event.
Happy 4th of July.
And as the cars were starting to grid, none other than Clay shows up at the fence so we could give him some last-minute good luck wishes. 400,000 people in the stands, and we're the ones getting high fives from pit lane. You just can't script that. The race? Well, McLaughlin crashed before the green.
Clay's car.
Andretti done before lap 1. Rain? Of course. Delays? Oh yeah. We had everything. Mechanical dramas, pit stop meltdowns, literally, I mean a fire. Storylines came and went. Newgarden chasing 3 in a row. Sato looking strong. Rossi making moves. But in the end, it was Alex Palou who pulled away. And yeah, his 5th win in 6 races. Dominant? Sure, but kinda boring. Monday started with a visit to the newly remodeled Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum, and I gotta tell you, they nailed it right from the lights out. The opening video, straight up chills. If you're even half of an IndyCar fan, it'll hit you right in the feels. History, heart, goosebumps, tears. From classic roadsters to championship-winning beasts, this museum is a walk through racing's greatest moments. Every corner, another legend. But one of the coolest parts was we got to look at that same car that everybody in Indy was talking about, and that was last year's winner's car that had the exact same infraction that got this year's car penalized. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But now is probably a good time to introduce the crew I rolled with. Troy. Met him back in 2002 during the Russell Racing Mechanic program. Lifelong friend and straight-up legend in the paddock. Then there's Robert and Brandon, Troy's longtime crew. Awesome guys, giant race fans, and all in for this trip. And then that night, we got to do something truly rare. A private tour of Dallara. Lights off, doors locked, no one there but the four of us. We saw it all. Raw carbon parts, tubs in production, wings on racks, even some things we probably weren't supposed to see. Including a closer look at that tail section that started all of the drama this year. Seeing it raw, unassembled, it just hit different. And yeah, this year Tech caught what they missed last year. Remember that tail from the museum? Yeah, that one. And then there it was, the Dallara simulator, full motion, team operated, $12,000 a day beast. Did I drive it? Nah, it takes a crew just to boot it up. Maybe next year though. I'm just saying, Dallara, my phone's on. It takes a full team to operate this thing, and during an IndyCar weekend, this thing's booked tighter than a pit stop strategy in the rain. But just seeing it up close, unreal. Bigger than life.
I guess we're playing the whole
thing. And
then
Tuesday, it all comes to an end. My flight from Indy to Houston, Houston to Oakland, Uber back to the house, finally hit the pillow at 11:15. Worth every second. This wasn't just about the Indy 500. This was about reconnecting with friends. It was actually about reigniting the spark that started all of this. How did I get into sim racing? A love for real racing. Things like the Indy 500, the pinnacle of motorsports. And while I still love sim racing, sometimes there's no substitute for the real thing. This is the Simpit. I'm Sean Cole, and I'll see you on the track.
All right. I saw one mistake that I can live with, and I saw I probably should have added some music in the background to it, but other than that, I thought it was pretty karaoke. It took 4 days to edit because I was flying blind. I had to literally guess with every piece. The fade, I couldn't see what the fades looked like or any of the cropping. So I had to just go by what I thought I was doing. I was literally flying blind. I could see nothing during editing. It was like just timing, creating fades, and guesswork. So yeah, it was actually took forever. 4 days is 3 days longer than it would have taken if all my footage worked out fine. No one knew. Well, Troy knew. No one knew about our tour. We were the only ones in the entire building. My buddy has a pretty high up job. He's like the I don't know his official title, but he's basically the building manager for Dallara. And so we had all access. There was one area we couldn't go in, and a few things that we weren't supposed to see that we did. But I didn't show any of that on the footage. So I didn't film anything we weren't supposed to see. So anyway, that video is going to come out in probably about an hour. I got to upload it, and as soon as YouTube can turn it on, we'll go live with that video. Other than that, pretty slow week. It was, but I have a lot of stuff in the works. I say that all the time, but I really mean it. Rally. So that does take us to Rally. I know most of you are the people who hang out here every day. If there's any questions or anything you want to talk about, we can do it. Like I said, today's the 4th of July. I wasn't planning on doing a show. I just didn't do any notice not having it. So I'm just kind of here filling in the gap. I know, how weird that I would have so many of that as well, Joa. But I will say it was really cool being able to, it was really cool being able to, let me bring that video back up. Karaoke!
400,000 fans. So
Karaoke, thank you so much.
Whoa, is very
Thank
nice.
you very much. And you're welcome for the preview. Getting back to this, though. Let's see here. Museum piece.
greatest moments.
I don't
Every
know if you
corner,
guys remember,
another
but right
legend.
before
But one of the
Indy
coolest
race,
parts was we got to look at that same car that everybody in Indy was talking about, and that was last year's winner's car that had the exact...
do you know how many shots and video I saw of that right there? Because literally when the cars got disqualified, everyone ran to the museum to look at the previous year's car because it in fact had the exact same violation. So to be able to see this and be like, okay, I get it, but then to later see that and to be able to see this epoxy line right here? All they did was they like blended it. They like shaved it down and made it smooth and nice. Because I don't know if you know this, but like when you look at the Penske cars, they have chrome. Oh, it's right before that. The suspension arms are
last
chrome.
year's winner's car.
That is because they just want them. It took a lot of money and time to make those chrome the way they come from Dallara. Oh, Andrus. Okay, today is an American holiday. Name my top 5 American cars and racing games. Oh, that's going to be really hard. Okay. I am going to have to go with a Shelby AC Cobra as the number 1, hands down. It's been in a handful of different games. I might not be able to cite the game that everything I can think of. Number 2, and this might not be in order. I'm just kind of trying to rack my brain and think about them. Number 2 is going to blow your mind. What was it? Dirt 5? The Ken Block Gymkhana Mustang. I think that's number 2. Number 3, I'm going to go with I don't know the exact year. It's going to be like late 90s IndyCar. The IndyCar from the late 90s. Like Montoya era. Was that 90s or early 2000s? That's 3. Number 4. Number 4 is going to be a weird one. It is the Corvette from the original Need for Speed. Number 5. Number 5 is the car that we had made for us, and it was the Chodas that was made for R Factor so that we could drive the car at Buttonwillow and Willow Springs before we let any human being actually sit in the car. They were going to do sim time. So there you go. There's the 5th car. Bam! All right. Any other questions or thoughts? Bucho! All right. Rally Sardinia is what we just finished. And P.S. Deadman, winning overall with a 1 hour, 2 minute time. Joa in second with 102.45, only 42 seconds back. Alesh Mom, my teammate, in third. Oh, brutal, because Alesh got beaten by Joa. And, well, I did better than Cobb, so I think we'll see how the overall points. Anyway, Caractacus in fourth, Jeff SMKU. Looking back through the grid, this is the overall results. Max Power, Marius, Sporkamic, SVTWRC. I'm in 10th place, scored a point. Woohoo! Christian Clark, Dirge in 11th. Ufi Bumbola, Sean Cobb, F4H Red Pod, Spatial Dragon, David S., I Nowak, Frank Patcham, Wouter Van Morik, and Tom Raleigh Jones in 20th. Was my list okay, you guys? Was that a good list? What do you think, Andres? Yeah, you guys are killing us. All right, team points. Let's look at it. So Joa and Sean, 341 points. We got identical points this week, by the way. So they have 341, we have 320. Caractacus and Wouter Van Morik have 303, and David S. and Tom Jones have 285. So with 2 events to go, it's getting pretty close. Yeah, a lot of mine are context of them, and I almost brought up a couple of others that would have been like that. I mean, like I'd honestly almost have to think the Sauber Mercedes from the Team Redline car pack for NASCAR 2003. That I got to put that on the list as well. I might have to revise the list. I don't know if that just a generic Cobra actually belongs on my real list if I really think about it. Because yeah, the Corvette sparked the idea, I think. But so did the Chotus. The Corvette from NFS because of its just importance and magnitude to me. I'm going to stick to the 90s Indy car because it's a car that has great meaning to me. I'm going to definitely add the Sauber from the that pack. And to be fair, do I have to include the Lotus from GPL? I mean, I don't know if mini modern cars really hold the importance magnitude to me if I really fairly score them on what I think is important. So that might be my revised list. Hey, Australia, Paul Cantlon, how you doing? Hope you have a great day. Your favorite U.S. car in racing games is the mighty Chevy GT1 in iRacing. You said it. Bam! Boom! Take that, people. That's fair. Yeah, no, yeah, Sean Cobb, that was definitely a shot at me. Joe has been rousting me for only scoring 1 rally point. Any other thoughts? What are your guys' favorite cars in sim racing? A Cadillac with bull horns. Like out of Smokey and the Bandit. All right. Well, here, I want to look at one more thing. Last week we showed these rollers off that David Payne got for the belt tensioners that go through the seat holes, right? I don't have seat holes on the seat. So here they are installed. No, you haven't. You've just been kicking my butt straight up. Oh yeah, what car am I in this week for rally? All right, so I am in the V-Dub and then the Citroen to finish it off. Versus VW Mini. VW Mini. Everyone's in the VW for Iberia. Interesting. Because we're rolling. All right, well, you guys, that's all I have. I didn't prepare a show. I just want to come hang out with you all and wish you all a happy 4th and remind you to be safe out there for those in North America or United States, I should say. And yeah, we watched the indie video. I'm going to go upload that right now, but you guys got a cool preview of it. Opinion. So, do I need to go add music and fix that one clip moment, or do I just ignore it and let it fly? What do you guys think? Here, I'm gonna bring it up one more time. I'm gonna show you the errors of my, well, the overall was adding music, a little theme tempo, which can be problematic because sometimes YouTube changes their rules. So
400,000 fans.
if it's monetizable or not, which I don't really care about. But then here was the one mistake that kind of bothers me, though. Oh, there it was. Oh. Oh, there it was. These things do aggravate me. That was supposed to be zoomed in more and not have me in the background doing this. Just leave it. Then I got to move on. I got to move on to that. I got to move on to that. I got to move on to, where is it? Where is it? I think it's right outside the door over there. This one annoys me. Also, my studio and lighting are really coming along. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I've been putting a lot of work into it. I got to get a light up on that shelf so you can see all those wheels. Aren't things looking pretty good, though? I must say. All right, everyone. Well, I think... No, pit stop's always at 8. Pit stop's at 8. Rally's at 9. Pit stop's at 8. So yeah, I think that's going to do it for today's show. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me on a Friday. I know it was short. We didn't have a lot to talk about. I apologize for that. But better than just canceling the show and not being on the air. So at least we got to say hi and got to hang out for a little bit. And I got to wish you all the best and encourage you to get out there and do some sim racing. That's going to do it for today. Have a great weekend, everybody. Be safe out there and have fun. This is the Simpit. I'm Sean Cole, and I'll see you on the track.